I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. Me and my dad got on my computer. Okay. Your turn, Dad.
How y'all doing? I'm Mike. This is Riri. Making a quick little video here. 3D. Dad's do's and don'ts. So it's going to be a political video. It's going to be my part 2. But my Riri heard I was making a video and she said she wanted to come chill for a minute. So, you know, watch my videos. These two are able to pop up at any time. Anyway, what's up, baby?
I was going to be making a video.
Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Hi. That's what I say. Hi.
Hi. I love you, baby. So, anything else?
No.
Okay. So, the second part of this video is going to talk about some of the Democrats that I think, you know, have the realistic shot of winning the nomination. There's really not that many, 4 or 5 at the most. And, you know, what I'm doing here, along with doing these videos just, you know, to run my mouth, is I'm trying to educate myself and get information about these candidates, because as it stands right now, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I have not made that decision yet. And so for me, it is extremely important to try to figure it out. Now, we got Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, and just for conversational purposes, for polling, you know, and to have the top 5, we'll say Mayor Pete Buttigieg. So, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But anyway, but realistically, I think that at this point here, that this is going to come down to a 2-person race pretty quickly. And that's going to be Biden and Elizabeth Warren. Kamala Harris is making a great surge, but that surge isn't really based on any substance. That surge is based on the fact that she took on Joe Biden, she locked horns with him, and, you know, she ran her mouth a little bit and was able to score some good debate points. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is that there's got to be more to that to win the ticket for the Democratic presidential nominee. And I know that a lot of her decisions in the past, in her former positions, are going to be challenged by whoever her opponents are. And I don't think she's had to address those. Like, she forced old Joe to address the busing issue, and she put him on blast about it, and he wasn't ready. Well, she's going to get those things coming her way about her record as well. So she's going to have to figure out a way. Now, I'm not saying she can't win the nomination, but out of I say the top 3, you know, are Biden, Warren, and Harris, in that order. I know Kamala Harris is ahead in the latest polls. She's second to Biden. But at this point here, they're both within the margin of error, Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris. So, and Bernie, you know, for me, as far as me personally, I know the left is making a huge shift towards very, very liberal, far left-wing things, you know, that this country, you know, the far left is really asking to the normal American citizen that's not too far left, that's not too far right, like me, it's can I digest everything that they're putting down, you know? Healthcare for all, college tuition's paid off, college tuition, everybody goes to school for free, illegal immigrants get healthcare, you know, and that's just a small, there's more and more and more and more and more and more, and it's just like all this stuff that I don't know that the normal person who's somewhere in the middle of issues is going to deal with that much. Because none of these candidates, except maybe Joe Biden a little bit, is trying to be somewhat moderate. But these other candidates, you know, if you notice at the debates, they asked a few questions where you had to stick your hand up. And so for a couple of those questions, you saw all those hands shoot up, boom, boom, boom. And then but you'd see old Joe Biden, his went up kind of like, you know what I mean? I just feel like he's trying to ride the fence a little bit. We'll get into Joe Biden, though, and what my feelings are on Joe. But, you know, I don't know that Kamala Harris is going to be able to gain enough ground after she has to defend her own record. So we'll see. As far as Joe Biden is concerned, you know, I don't really like the fact that, in my opinion, he used his 8 years as vice president for President Obama to be the litmus test for how engaged into civil rights and how engaged into helping minorities in a level playing field and all these things that, you know, everybody's talking about now. You know, he thought that the fact that he was Obama's vice president was enough for him. That's it. I should get the black vote. I should get the brown vote. I should get all that because I was the first black president's vice president. That's how I see it. Now, the reason I feel like that's the case is because he's used that to defend his views and defend the fact that he takes on these attacks as far as his record is concerned. You know, I was vetted by Obama and 10 lawyers and 5 genies and 24 wise men and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, they picked me to be the, you know, the vice presidential candidate. I'll stand on that. Da, da, da. So he's not making any qualms about it. Now, excuse me, there is one thing, though, on that as far as Joe Biden is concerned. He said that he refused the endorsement from Barack Obama, that he asked Barack not to endorse him. Now, look, if I'm running for president of the United States, the primary reason before any of my policies, before any of my thought processes, beyond this, beyond that, I am running because I believe in my heart that my ideas are going to be the best possible to help shape this nation. If I don't think I can win and I don't think I can do a good job, I have no business running to be president of the United States. So I'm just assuming that everybody, kind of like the Super Bowl, the 2 teams that go to the Super Bowl, you're just assuming they're going out there to win. You know, I feel like if you throw your name into the hat to become a presidential candidate, you know, you should think you have a chance. Now, I don't really know what dang, I lost my train of thought. All right, let me back up half a step. Biden has been using the fact that he was Obama's vice president to make his case to the black, brown, minority communities. I don't think that's enough. Not saying he's a racist, not saying any of that. He did get vetted by all the wise men and all the good people and, you know, this and that. And so I'm not suggesting at all that he's racist. I don't think that he is. I think he's a very not racist person. I think that he is very, he's you know, he wants to make a difference. He wants to make policies better. I don't think that he's pulling the wool over our eyes. I just don't know that his ideas to get those things done are actually going to work, you know. He wants to rely a lot, just like with healthcare. He wants to rely a lot on, you know, he doesn't believe in healthcare for all. He believes that we should expand on and tighten up Obamacare. So, and you know, I don't know how that's going to work out as far as politically for him. It might be okay just simply because it's all great now that everybody's so left wing and all this and that. But at the end of the day, a lot of the voters are going to be like me. They're going to want some kind of candidate who's not, you know, way off the hinges, you know. And like, I just think Bernie, you know, and I'm going to jump around from candidate to candidate here. Out of the few that I think have the chance to win the ticket, I think Bernie is way too far left. Yeah, he had a nice little movement when he went against Hillary, but that was then. And his movement now is getting splintered. Elizabeth Warren's getting a lot of the same supporters that he would have gotten had she not been in the race. So I just think that Bernie is not going to be able to pick up enough steam. There's not enough votes for Bernie Sanders in this country to make him president. And there's not enough votes in the Democratic Party to make Bernie the candidate either, in my opinion. and I'm not just saying that because last time, but last time a lot of people say that he had that snatched from him. Like the Democratic Party was going out of their way to try and, you know, make it so that Hillary was going to be the one. I don't know if that's true, but, you know, but I definitely don't think he has the steam for this one. Elizabeth Warren, now, let me tell you something. Her policies are, you know, basically pretty far left-wing as well. But she's giving her policies. Because I've been to her website, I've read her policies that she's talking about, because I want to know what they say. It always is great to hear these speeches where they tell you what they're going to do and how great it's going to be and yada yada yada. But for me, I'm just curious. I just want to know, you know, how are you going to do that? And so, you know, I don't see any of the candidates putting in the effort to tell us what they'll do, the policies and how they'll achieve them. Excuse me. How things are going to get paid for, you know, what's going to have to be taken here and go there and blah, blah, blah. I'm not suggesting that I agree with any or some of the policies. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about healthcare for all. I mean, I know it's a good idea, I think, to have a nation that is going to allow its people to get medical attention. I don't want to see the government control it all. I think that if there's some sort of a program that can help people out more and still let people have the decisions to have the health care that they want. I mean, we talk about all these basic human rights. Isn't it shouldn't I basically be able to decide who I want to take care of me if I'm sick or if I just want a checkup? You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't think that there should be a mandatory state health care. There's a couple of the candidates that say that they would just offer it, but would also let people keep. I think any of the candidates on the Democratic side that say they want a fully operational state health care program, health care for all, Medicare, Medicaid for all, whatever, they're off my list, me personally. I just, because if that's their attitude with that, then that's going to be their attitude with everything else. And I don't think that the government should have that much control over our lives. I think that we as people are, for the most part, pretty capable of making certain decisions for ourselves. I think that we don't need the government's help to make a lot of the decisions that a lot of people that are running for this office would like to make a big thing with. I don't have any college debt, so I'm probably, not the right one to speak on this, but I don't believe that the government should be trying to figure out a program to pay everybody's college debt off. Yeah, it stinks. It's no good. Baby, be careful. Sit down. You got a dress on. We're on video right now, so you make sure you don't be jumping around doing coke. Thank you. But, I don't think that paying off everybody's tuition is better for the large amount, the majority of the country. It'd be great for a lot of people, but man, all that. I guess the best way to describe it is socialism. You know what I mean? That's really what a lot of these theories and a lot of these far left ideologies are really getting to the brass tacks of. You know what I mean? You, at the end of the day, however you want to do it, whether you want to do it through healthcare, whether you want to do it through paying off college tuitions, whether you want to do it through free college, whatever you want to do it through, you are taking the wealth and dividing it up. And so, to me, it is what it is. And my biggest problem with any type of like a real, and socialism can't be defined by one government. You can't look at one government and say that's what a socialist government is, because it's just like a democracy. Our capitalist governments and democratic nations, they have some differences in the way that they run their democracy, but it is still thought of as a democracy. And so same thing with socialist governments. Venezuela's government's not the exact same as Denmark's government, is not the exact same as Vietnam's government, you know what I mean? So, there's a lot of differences, but at the end of the day, the one main thing is that there is a distribution of wealth, that everything is owned and everything is controlled by government and everything is distributed out evenly amongst the citizens. And I just don't know, my grandpa, who was very, very left-wing, he used to tell me the reason that socialism won't work. He said you could take all of the money in the world, everything that was worth anything or in this country, and divide it up equally among every adult in this country in the morning. And by the end of the day, by the time it got dark, you would have rich people, you would have poor people, you would have beggars, you would have, because socialism doesn't really take into account somebody's determination, somebody's intellect. He used to tell me, give me a good example. If I am a doctor in a socialist government and I'm seeing 50 patients a day, but I see this doctor across from me who's only seeing 10 patients a day, and we're making the same amount of money, because what incentive do I have to do more? What incentive do I have to be great? And so I've kind of viewed socialism through those eyes. And for me, like I said, because my grandpa was so liberal, I feel like he had some he thought it would be okay. He said he thinks that the country would be better to have all drugs legal. That's a whole different conversation in itself. And he made a very, very, very good argument for that. I see this video is getting kind of long. All right, I'm going to cut it right there. I don't even know if I'm going to put this up on YouTube because it's super long, but I guess I got to decide that this is the way that I want these next 5 or 10 videos to be. Just me talking about politics. You got anything to say about that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, you sat here with me the whole video. You was quiet. You was good. I appreciate you.
Now can I make my own video?
You can say whatever you want, baby.
Okay, I want to make my own video.
Your own, like turn this one off and start your own?
Yeah, okay, can you do that?
I can, but you're going to say bye.
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 See y'all.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Be there.
Do that.
Get
wanted.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
See y'all, y'all.
See ya, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna phone now.
What?
Let a person stick out for a poo yard.